Do you remember that bright red hotel on Hotel Hell that was modeled after a Ferrari sports car? Well, if you don't, we're referring to this one. In today's video, we're gonna discuss what happened to the Keating Hotel and its owner Eddie Kane. But before that, let's get into a recap of the episode. The Keating Hotel, located in San Diego, California, was featured in the 4th episode of the 1st season. Interestingly enough, the business was located across the street from a stand-up comedy club called the Laugh Factory. But the locals would tell you that you wouldn't need to visit this club since the hotel's theme and overly red design was a joke. Before opening the hotel, the owner Kane worked as a contractor for real estate. Considering the fact that he had some experience in the industry, he wasn't reflecting this at all. What's more, Kane had a very odd obsession with cars. It was so deep-rooted that he created a 35-room hotel with sports cars in mind. This might not seem too bad, but if you simply walk around the hotel, you'd certainly start to feel dizzy. Like, why is there so much damn red on the walls? To make matters even worse, this horrible interior came at a steep price. Kane spent millions of dollars designing it, but sadly, no one really liked it. Later on, when Chef Ramsay arrived at the hotel, he thought that the hotel's exterior resembled a nightclub. The hotel's concierge, Christos, showed Chef Ramsay his expensive $759 a night room, which looked more like a garage than anything. At the Keating Hotel, you'll find models of cars at the entrance, car posters in the elevator, and floors named after different sports cars. This man is obsessed. Anyway, while this concept could have turned out to be something very unique, Kane just failed to execute it properly. It was so poorly designed that when you eventually open the door to your room, this is what you would find.
Wow, yes.
It's so empty. More like a garage in their guest room. $759. Wow, that's incredibly expensive.
Okay, so we get he has an obsession with sports cars, but why in the hell did he put a jacuzzi in the middle of the living area? And this thing, which was totally out of place, actually cost $20,000. But alas, while the tub cost an arm and a leg, the rest of the decor appeared to be very cheap. For one, the electric plug was damaged, the bed covers were wrinkly, and the furniture wasn't even functional. Yup, so much for the sports car theme, right? So, the interior aside, let's move on to the hotel's food now. Hoping for some better service, Chef Ramsay dials for some room service, but the call is answered by the front desk.
A little bit bizarre for me is that I'm ordering room service at the front desk. There's no direct line down to the kitchen?
There is no direct line down to the kitchen.
Listen, I'm starving. I'll have a tomato soup, please. And then pizza, barbecue chicken. I'll have one of those.
I'll have that as soon as I can.
Brilliant.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Ideally, there should have been a direct line to the kitchen. Regardless, he decided to order some tomato soup, barbecue chicken pizza, and some Parmesan sliders. But, expectedly, his hopes were let down when the food arrived in cardboard boxes and plastic containers instead of being served on a plate. Considering that customers have to pay $700 every night for this wasn't the kind of service you'd expect. Presentation aside, was the food at least tasty? Well, Chef Ramsay took 2 unimpressed gulps of the soup, and this is how he reacted to the sliders.
Fuck me. Now I know why they got the boxes. It's a takeaway puke box.
After the dreadful meal, Chef Ramsay met with the owner Kane, who told him that he spent upwards of $6 million on the hotel in 2000. He did all of this despite having no experience in the hospitality industry. Confused, the famous chef started to wonder what the owner was smoking at the time. What's more, Kane had never actually stayed at his own hotel, but was under the assumption that the rooms and service were all magnificent. When Chef Ramsay criticized the hotel's shortcomings and the subpar meals for obvious reasons, Kane didn't believe any of it. But no matter how Kane spun things, claiming that it was a dreamlike hotel, it was anything but that for the guests who checked in.
You bought a building that was your dream, but it doesn't feel like a dream experience to a guest. Nowhere fucking near it.
Soon after, the owner went on a pathetic rant to his staff about the criticisms Chef Ramsay made, to which his general manager, Sandra Vivas, just shrugged it off and said this.
Most hotels have those giant ironing things that the sheets go through there. We don't have that.
And that's when several customers walked up to the front desk to express their concerns about the awful hotel. One of them found hair between their sheets, while another found grains of sand. But this next one will blow your mind. Just listen to what she said.
We've been waiting for 45 minutes. So if it's not up in 10 minutes, just cancel it because we'll go to dinner, okay?
Okay.
Considering how there were so many complaints concerning their sheets, there must have been something wrong with how they handled their laundry, right? When Chef Ramsay walked into the laundry area, he noticed that it was stocked with domestic washers and dryers. These machines are obviously insufficient to handle the load of a hotel. On top of that, the sheets were never ironed after washing, which explained why they were always wrinkled. And guess who took care of the front desk and the laundry services? The concierge staff. But it's not like Vivas, the general manager, was ignorant or negligent to these issues. She was well aware of them and even brought them up quite frequently with Kane. However, despite pointing out the hotel's shortcomings on several occasions, nothing had really changed. For him, it was all about how things looked. He didn't give a damn about managing the place.
$800 a night to stay in something pretty mediocre. You should be ashamed.
I am ashamed. I am ashamed.
Chef Ramsay recalled his horrible experience with room service and headed over to the restaurant to see things for himself. There, he met with the restaurant manager Aaron, who refused to take any responsibility for the long wait periods. He even went as far as to say that he didn't know that was a problem. But nothing could prepare Chef Ramsay for one of the most unappetizing dinner services he's ever witnessed. While he found that most of his dishes were dry, it was the dessert that completely blew his mind. Check out what he compared it to.
Bland, chicken's dry, way too much rosemary, and just, it's shit.
The pizza, topped with chocolate, bacon, and strawberry, must have been the worst combination he's ever seen. Now, Chef Ramsay was curious to see who was behind this level of creativity. And that's when he meets with Chef Brian, who had been working at the Keating Hotel for 5 years. This man also had a total of 33 years of cooking experience. So why was the food so bad? Well, that's because Chef Brian never prepared them. He admitted to Chef Ramsay that he lost most of his motivation owing it to Kane's unrealistic demands. We've got a general manager here who wants to set things right, and a head chef with years and years of experience with food. But they couldn't do anything because of this guy who cared about nothing but himself. And do you know how much this was stressing out the staff? Poor Chef Brian was feeling so overwhelmed with the pressure that he had to be wheeled away by the emergency services to the nearest hospital. It looks like this hotel was truly hell. The following day, Chef Ramsay visited Brian out of goodwill, and he found out that Kane was taking advantage of Brian's good nature. At the hotel, while the staff started pointing fingers towards the owner, he simply chose to brush them off and said this.
You have a general manager, you have a head chef, executive chef, you have a front desk manager. You shouldn't get involved.
Because I have a vision here and I give them the ideas.
No.
Yeah, that's exactly why the hotel wasn't doing well. If Kane just let the rest of his staff manage their work, everything would have worked out just fine. It was all about his decisions, his wish, and his priority over customer satisfaction. And thus came the downfall of the entire hotel. Some of these customers had the worst time of their life even though they paid a premium price to stay there.
Madam, please.
I just feel like this place was designed kind of form over function. It was just kind of weird.
From then on, the hotel underwent a massive makeover, and Chef Ramsay also signed them up with a linen provider to knock the whole laundry issue out the window. The evening menu was updated with new options, and the Keating Hotel was ready for a fresh relaunch. But not before Chef Ramsay tried the hotel's best offering out. Soon enough, compliments began to flow in, and Chef Brian was, once again, cooking to the best of his abilities.
There's one more change we need to do. You've been wearing a red chef jacket for far too long. You deserve a white one. Put that on.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. It's not Eddie's favorite color, but it is a proper chef's jacket. You deserve it. Make it yours.
Thank you, Gordon.
Well done.
Since Chef Ramsay left, the hotel was doing well at first. Reviews were acceptable, but not outstanding. On TripAdvisor, it had a 3.5-star rating, while Booking.com gave it an 8.2 stars. The owner thought so highly of Chef Ramsay that he even named a suite in his honor. The reviews on Yelp spoke about how the staff was nice, welcoming, and helpful, and the accommodation was exceptionally clean. Apparently, the happy hour, which ran from 5 to 7 p.m., was very popular. Some people even loved the King Deluxe rooms and enjoyed their room's outlook. The gym is located in the same building as the front desk and breakfast area on the second floor, which several guests really appreciated. From treadmills to ellipticals, weightlifting equipment to exercise balls, yoga mats to free weights, this gym was stocked with a bunch of great stuff. But do you know what else is stocked with a bunch of great stuff? Our channel. Since you made it this far into the video, why don't you give us your support by dropping a massive like down below and subscribing if you haven't already. And by the way, it doesn't even cost you a penny. So why not just do it? Anyway, let's get into the final part of this juicy video. So the lobby and common areas were decent, but the rooms were outdated and required a thorough deep cleaning according to an excessive number of negative reviews. The bathtub and plumbing needed to be replaced right away because the bathrooms were so small. Lastly, let's move on to an important question. Is this place really still open? Although the hotel continued to operate for many years after Chef Ramsay's visit, nobody could have predicted the havoc the viral outbreak would wreak on this business. The hotel announced on its Facebook page in March of 2020 that it would be temporarily closed down due to the global issue. Although the hotel stated that it intended to open as soon as possible, it has not done so since then and hasn't provided any additional updates. The Keating Hotel has been vacant for more than 2 years. The hotel's website is also no longer active. Additionally, reservations for the Keating Hotel can no longer be made through any online travel agencies such as Booking.com and others. Because of these factors, we believe that the Keating Hotel won't reopen, at least not under the current management. So, do you think the Keating Hotel will ever open back up? Let us know in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, guys!